Okay, so good morning, everyone. Let's get started with our warm up. Okay, so as usual, do check your surroundings. If you do need any sort of support, make sure you grab enough of it. Okay, and we're just going to get started with marching as well. And my camera is a little bit crooked, so let me see if I can get that. Okay, it's a little better. Okay, so let's continue to march. Okay, and let's still try to stand a little bit taller. Okay, relax your shoulders. Okay, you can just kind of swing through your arms. Okay, a little bit of rotation in the back. Okay, so let's keep doing that while I let more people into the room. Okay, so let's try to do a little bit of hip press first. Okay, so let's just try to keep marching while you're just trying to put your head slightly backwards. Okay, so press the back of your head a little bit, okay, until I guess your head is on top of your shoulders. Okay, and let's just try to add a little bit of neck turn, so still maintain the head posture on top of the shoulders, okay, while you just kind of lightly turn side to side. Okay, but we still try to keep the head on top of the shoulders. Okay, make sure you're still breathing, so there's a little bit of tension, but you're not so tense that you are stiff. Okay, and let's kind of bend and extend our spine a little bit now. So we're going to tuck our chin in, okay, and kind of coming back up. Okay, slowly roll down your spine, so chin down, okay, and then chest down slightly. Okay, and as you breathe in, chest up towards the ceiling. Try to feel a little bit of tension in your mid-back muscle. Okay, and then coming back up. Okay, and then we continue going down our spine. Okay, so it's chin down, chest down. Okay, suck in your stomach a little bit, let your shoulders hang forward. Okay, you don't need to pull yourself down, just kind of relax a little bit. Okay, breathing in. Okay, just go in the opposite direction. Maybe pull your shoulders slightly back this time. Okay, and then we continue. So chin, kind of chest and shoulders. Okay, stomach in a little bit. Okay, pull your front of the pelvis up a little bit. Okay, breathing out fully and then breathing in. Okay, extend kind of everything, but focus on pulling the chest up a little higher. Give me one last time. Okay, you can also just stop your feet if that's easier for you. Okay, and let's come back to the middle. Okay, still trying to reset our posture. So taller, wider. Okay, and let's open and close our chest a little bit. So holding the fingers, palm open, pressing outside. You try to see if you can pull a little further back. Yeah, then give yourself a little bit of a hug. Okay, and relaxing for a second. Okay, so now what we're going to do is just raise the arms a little bit higher. Okay, so we're going to have both palms kind of upwards. Okay, and we're going to have one hand down, the other hand kind of close to like the neck, like a teapot. Okay, and you're just going to lean your head towards the same direction. Okay, so it might be more comfortable if you just kind of stand still for a second. Okay, but your head kind of goes in the same direction as your hands. Okay, but you're trying to open up the hand a little bit more. Okay, just and then kind of tilting your head as much as you just feel comfortable. Okay, and then both sides open again. Shoulders may start to be a little tight. Okay, but let's try to side bend the kind of the lower back a little bit as well. So we're just going to lean side to side a little bit. We feel a little bit of stretch. Okay, and you're trying to separate the arms. You're also rotating the shoulders and the entire arm a little bit. Okay, maybe just a couple more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay, and shake it off. Okay, maybe get her feet moving again if you feel comfortable. Okay, and let's just rotate side. Okay, relax on the shoulders. Okay, open the chest a little bit more as we usually do. So press the back of your hand into your pelvis or your back. Keep holding your shoulders back, puffing your chest forward. Okay, and you're just going to pull your chest open a little bit. Okay, and then relax. Okay, once again, any point, if it's easy for you, you can just either stop your feet, okay, or you can just kind of pump your heels. Okay, a little bit harder. See if you can almost lightly decrease the pressure on your pelvis from the back of your hand. Okay, so you're almost lightly trying to pull it, open it a little bit. Okay, but take it a little bit easier for now, so try not to pull too hard. Okay, just maybe even figure out a paper with away from the pelvis. Okay, and going back up and shake it off. Okay, let's go forward and back a little bit. Okay, let's go upwards. Okay, so let's try breathing in. Okay, bringing the chest up as well. Thumbs facing backwards. Okay, think of opening think of pushing your armpits forward. Okay, maybe less so they bring up. Sometimes when we think of bringing arms up, we tend to do this. Okay, think of almost driving your armpits forward, and your arms should kind of naturally come up a little bit more as well. Okay, breathe in as we reach towards the ceiling. Okay, so top of the shoulders might get a little bit fatigued if you're not used to it. Okay, and let's rotate your arms on the side. Okay, let's do about 5 seconds in one direction. Try to stay tall while you're doing this. Relaxing the top of your shoulders. Okay, and a couple times the other way. Okay, let's go backwards. Just go to a point where close to your limit. Okay, and let's try to just circle a little bit slower. Okay, see if you can just reach a maybe just slightly past your limit or just touch your limit. Okay, we try to get your thumbs a little bit closer together towards your back. Okay, without rounding, so still try to get your chest nice and tall. Okay, and change direction for 3, 2, 1. Okay, and once again, checking across a little bit. Okay, there's my right arm reaching to my left. Okay, my left hip, kind of make it face forward. Okay, so my chest and my hips are mostly square to the front. Okay, I'm trying to squeeze my elbows into my chest. Okay, so still about 5 seconds one way, okay, but maybe a little bit slower. Okay, try to squeeze your elbows into your chest. Okay, so this is my left hand reaching to my right side. Okay, and then just try to square the front, my body up. Okay, once again, try not to get your wrist closer, but try to get your elbows closer to my chest. Okay, maybe almost try to breathe out as you press in. Okay, and maybe opposite direction for a couple of seconds. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay, shaking it out again. Take a deep breath in and out. Sometimes we can be a little too tense when we do these compression type movements. Okay, let's go upwards. Okay, let's just kind of reach up a little more first. So try to press up to the ceiling. Can we breathe in? Okay, you're just trying to press your palm to the ceiling. Okay, and we're going to have one hand up. Okay, thumb maybe facing back. Okay, see if you can rotate your arm from the base. Okay, so my elbows is still more or less straight. Okay, but I'm trying to open up my shoulders. Okay, bring your chest up a little bit. Okay, and maybe a couple of seconds the other direction. Okay, and we're still trying to stay within our pain-free range. Okay, so this is as far as you can go, that's okay. Just try to open up slightly more, okay, without going into too much of a discomfort. Okay, let's try the other side. Okay, so still reaching up. Okay, maybe palms facing back. Okay, once again, see if you can rotate to the base of your arm. Okay, may take a little bit of tension, a little bit of effort. Okay, and coming back down. Okay, let's rotate the arm a little bit more. Okay, so let's make the OK sign again. We're going to rotate the wrist. Okay, so I'm trying to turn my fingers almost backwards and then onto towards my neck. Okay, you might feel like a stretch or sometimes even a little bit of pain in the pinky and the ring finger. Okay, so if you feel that, just don't go too much. Okay, but see if you can slowly, okay, if it's not painful for you, see if you can rotate your wrist so that it faces towards the ceiling. Okay, and just kind of contract and relax a few times. Okay, so now we can just let go of the sign, okay, and we're just going to drive our elbows forward, okay, while reaching our fingers back. Okay, so we're trying to imagine you have a plate on your hand and you're just trying to flatten it so you can carry it. Okay, so trying to keep your elbows pointing forward, okay, and you're trying to reach back with your fingers. Okay, so you should feel a little bit of a tightness, some tension in the back of the shoulders. Okay, once again, just stay in your pain-free range. Okay, so if this is as far as you can go, that's okay. Just try to reach your fingers back a little bit, okay, while keeping your elbows kind of in the same, more or less the same place. Okay, now the opposite, see if you can curl your wrist a little bit, reach into your armpits. Okay, reach kind of down and back. Okay, lift it up a little bit, rotate the entire arm back out, and you're going to repeat. Okay, so we're internally, so we're rotating the shoulders forward, okay, without rounding. Still trying to have a taller chest. Okay, we rotate the arm inwards. Okay, and you can kind of reach down and then reach back up a little bit. Okay, kind of making a soft fist. Okay, shoulders probably a little tight. Okay, so let's give that a rest. Rotating the hands. Okay, we're going to rotate kind of the forearm a little bit more this time. Okay, so let's just kind of bring the arms down. Okay, imagine you have two pillows underneath your elbows. You can keep it there. Okay, so we're going to kind of reach forward with your pinky. Okay, and you're going to try to keep reaching kind of towards that direction, okay, or kind of rotate the arm in that direction rather. Okay, and you're going to keep, and you can bring it up. Okay, at the top, of course, you're still trying to rotate, so the pinky is now kind of reaching towards your shoulders. Okay, and you're going to change direction. Okay, reach forward with the thumb this time. Okay, and then coming back down, keep kind of reaching your thumb, rotate the arm that way. Okay, and then change direction, so pinky forward again. Okay, and then okay, so we're rotating not the entire shoulder, but mostly the lower arm, okay, and the wrist as well. Okay, and let's kind of wiggle our fingers. Okay, maybe touch your thumb to each finger. Okay, try to open your hand a little bit more. Okay, we're gonna make this a little harder for ourselves, so we're gonna have the hand dangling there. Okay, see if you can curl your wrist backwards. Okay, now also open up the fingers as well. So probably feel the back of your hands or your fingers engaging. Okay, when you hold it here, let's just try to rotate the arms. Okay, while pulling our fingers and the hand back. And let's do about 3 to 5 times. So this is the third time for me. Okay, I'll start any point when your forearm and your back of your hand gets a little tired. Okay, kind of shaking out a little bit. Okay, and let's do the opposite a little bit. Okay, see if you can just curl your fingertips. Okay, if it's stiff for you, just do your best. Okay, let's try to make it almost like a wave so you can curl the base and then the tips of the fingers. And you're kind of dragging it back up. You can do the opposite where you curl the tips of the fingers first, close the fist, and then extend the tip of the finger, base of the finger. Okay, so ends up looking something like this. You can do the same thing with the thumb. Okay, and once again, wiggle all your fingers again, shake it off. Okay, going to kind of a neck circle. Don't try too hard for this one, but let's just try to do a circle. Okay, maybe bring our nose or chin as the focus point. Okay, so we're going to pull your chin down, look towards the floor on one side. Okay, tilt the head a little bit, so one ear kind of up, one ear down. Okay, raise the chest up as you look upwards. Okay, look towards the other way. Okay, one ear up, one ear down again. Okay, bring your chin towards the shoulders. Okay, and then to the chest. In just the opposite direction. Okay, once again, as you look up, bring your chest up as well. Okay, so maybe just 1 or 2 times. Once again, you don't have to try too hard for this one. You might hear a little bit of clicking. Okay, as long as there's no pain, it's fine. Okay, but once again, don't try too hard. Okay, same thing with the chest. Okay, we're gonna make the focus point just the cross on the hands. Okay, and you're just gonna bring that the middle of the X downwards a little bit. Okay, rotate it over one hip or one leg. Okay, tilt one shoulder up, one shoulder down. Okay, bring the middle of the X upwards. So really try to engage the mid-back muscles to push that X upwards. Okay, coming back towards the middle. Okay, look towards the other way. Okay, one shoulder down, one shoulder up. Kind of roll it down a little bit. Once again, I'm not trying very hard. Okay, just as far as just a little bit of what my body allows me to. Okay, pushing the middle of the X up. Okay, and we're just doing 1 or 2 times. The motion is mostly coming from my back. Okay, so my hips are not really moving too much. Okay, maybe slightly. Okay, and once again, shaking out a little bit. Okay, going onto the shoulders, we're going to do a big rotation. Okay, so make a soft fist again. Okay, we're going to pull our arm into our chest again. Okay, so it's finger drawing a really big circle. Okay, so try to reach inwards, okay, without rotating the entire body. Okay, so my chest face forward. You can always see the front of my shirt. Okay, still trying to pull, compress my elbow into my chest, closer to my nose. Okay, try to get my arm a little bit closer to my ears. Okay, thumb is facing back at this point. Okay, opening up while reaching backwards. Okay, thumb starts to rotate down as your arm lowers. Okay, I'm trying to kind of reach back at this point. So from the sides, I'm kind of reaching back. and dropping your shoulders down. Okay, and the same thing, just in the opposite direction. So I'm reaching back. Okay, when you feel you're getting close to that soft lock in the shoulders, start to rotate your thumb kind of outwards. Okay, trying to reach back. Okay, while still facing, squaring your chest to the front. Okay, thumb starts to rotate, kind of point backwards. Okay, I'm trying to get my arm to almost kind of cover my ear. Okay, try to compress my arm, my upper arm into my face, into my chest. Okay, and then dropping it back down. Okay, so it's just a really big circle all the way around with a little bit of effort, so we can reach just a little bit, at least get close to a limit. Slightly past what we're used to. Okay, and let's do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so still it's kind of tall posture. Okay, when you reach arm towards the midline, still squaring my chest forward, squaring my hips forward. I'm trying to compress a balloon into my chest. Okay, compress my arm into my face. Okay, thumb faces backwards as I try to almost cover my ear with my arm. Okay, start to reach back. Thumb starts to rotate backwards or downwards rather. Okay, so I'm still trying to reach back. Okay, and then dropping my shoulders, my hands down. Opposite direction, reaching backwards. Okay, as you feel yourself getting closer to that soft lock in the shoulder, turn your thumb outwards. Okay, still trying to reach back. Okay, I should really be squaring my chest a little more forward. Trying to open up my shoulders a little bit more, open up my chest. Thumb is facing towards the back. Okay, try to get my arm, upper arm, closer to my face. Get my elbow pit closer to my chest. Okay, and back there. Okay, shaking off a little bit. Okay, so let's just slightly stretch out the side. Okay, we might be a little tense. Okay, so let's just kind of lightly tilt the head sideways. Okay, and we're just going to kind of pull our shoulders down. So finger creating more space between the shoulders and the ears. Okay, and just kind of contract and relax. Okay, tilt your head sideways a little bit, so look towards the ground rather. And once again, try to reach towards the floor. Okay, until you feel a little bit of a stretch. Okay, and we're kind of just contracting and then relaxing. Okay, slowly coming back. Pause for as long as you need to. Okay, when you feel okay, then tilt your head the other way. Okay, same idea. Still trying to reach towards the ground by fingertips. Okay, maybe holding for a little bit and then just relaxing. Okay, kind of 3 to 5 times and then look towards the ground a little bit more. Kind of repeating the same thing. You just feel a little bit of stretch on the side of the neck, top of the shoulders. Okay, once again, slowly come back. Take as long as you need until you feel you're steady again. Okay, on to the pelvis. Okay, so let's try to find the front and the back of our pelvis. So index finger in the front, your thumbs in the back. Okay, see if you can just gently tilt your pelvis front to back. Okay, so pour water out from the front of the bowl and pour water out from the back of the bowl a little bit. Okay, once if any of this causes you pain, just stop. Okay, and just take a break. Okay, but maybe just kind of notice what your natural posture is. Okay, so naturally I tend to be more this way. Sometimes I should really work on just resetting a little bit. So I used to have a lot more curve this way. So I need to do a little bit this. Okay, if you find that your pelvis is naturally pointing backwards a lot, okay, maybe just be more aware of it and maybe stand a little more times. Your pelvis is maybe slightly to the forward so that there's a little bit of a curve here, not excessive, okay, but this shouldn't be kind of flat either. Okay, so just kind of notice what your natural standing pose is, and then you can kind of make adjustment. Okay, let's try side to side a little bit. Okay, so kind of just moving our low back a little bit more. Okay, can be hard to control. Okay, so I'm not just tilting sideways or shifting side to side. I'm kind of tilting my pelvis side to side a little bit as well. Okay, just for fun, see if you can almost do a belly dance. Okay, see if you can turn a little bit. I'm definitely not graceful while doing this. Okay, but just a little bit of a, mostly moving our low back spine. Okay, and then relaxing for a second. Okay, so now we're gonna go a little bit lower. So instead of the spine, we're moving the hip joints, which is just where your leg meets your pelvis. Okay, so your hip joint is if you put your thumb in front of your index belly button, go out a little bit, and your fingers straight down. Okay, that's roughly where your hip joint is. So where your leg connects to the pelvis, kind of like how this joint here, the elbow joint, and this is our hip joint. Okay, so let's try to rotate here. Okay, so we're keeping the spine kind of relaxed. We're trying to get the motion mostly from the hips. Okay, so slowly see if you can drive your hips a little further out. You might feel a little bit of stretch in the front side. And we change direction after a couple of times. You can kind of relax your upper body a little bit. Okay, stretching the back. Let's reach our hips backwards. It might be more comfortable for you might feel more comfortable if you have something to hold either in front like this, or you can also hold like this. Okay, once again, safety first. Okay, so you can try to push the hips back. Okay, but try to lengthen the spine. Okay, so try to create more space between your tailbone and the top of the head. Okay, so this will be less space. This will be more space. Okay, but it's to try to push hips back. Okay, so let's try to breathe out as you reach, set your hips back. Okay, breathing in as you come back up. Okay, let's repeat it a couple of times. So you can kind of breathe out. Okay, and breathing in. Okay, standing tall. Okay, I'm going to hold here for a second. So you might be more comfortable with something to hold on to. It's fine if you don't need it either. Okay, but let's try to just almost shift side to side a little bit. Okay, while you try to straighten out your knees a little bit. Okay, so it's easy to see, but I'm trying to exaggerate a little bit, but I'm kind of shifting side to side a little bit as I try to straighten one leg, and I'm shifting towards that side a little bit. Okay, so I'm straightening my left leg, and I'm trying shifting my hips a little bit towards the left, straightening out my right, and shifting my hips towards my right. Okay, so just a little bit of a, I guess, pumping action, maybe you can call it. Okay, and just feel a little bit more stretch. Okay, behind one leg. Okay, you can apply a little bit of pressure through the chair, okay, for support, and also think of kind of pulling yourself down a little bit. Okay, so we're coming back up. We pause for a second again. Okay, we move your feet a little bit until you feel perfectly fine. Okay, if you still feel unwell, stop and sit down for a second. Okay, let's go to the front. I'm going to flip the chair around so I have a little more support. You can use anything else as well. Okay, one foot forward, one foot back, widening my stance for balance. Okay, I'm going to lift the front of my pelvis up. Okay, so my belt is facing kind of more flat instead of pointing down. Okay, so flatten my belt line a little bit. Okay, I'm trying to straighten out the back leg, trying to drive the heels backwards. Okay, and for most people, you start feel a stretch in the front already. Okay, so I'm gonna hold here for a second. Okay, just take a couple of breaths in and out. Okay, so yes, there is tension going on. Okay, but we're still relaxed enough to take a breath in and out. Okay, so adjust how tense you are. Use just enough tension to maintain that front of the pelvis up, and then heels closer to the ground in the back. Okay, my left leg is back. I'm going to raise my left arm. Okay, breathing in as I just reach up, breathing out as I come back down. Okay, if you feel comfortable, slowly press your palm up a little higher. Okay, maintaining that tension in the lower body. Okay, I'm starting to lean towards opposite direction and also slightly backwards. So reaching kind of to the middle and the back. Okay, feeling a stretch just on the side of my trunk. Okay, slowly come back. Maybe some tingling, some stiffness in the front of the pelvis. And whenever you're ready, you can just set up for the other side. Okay, we're just going to stay here and hang out for a little bit. Okay, I'm still trying to break my belt buckle up. I'm still trying to drive my heels down and back. Okay, stretching out the front of my hips. Okay, be relaxed enough to breathe in and out while still holding on that little bit of tension. Trying to breathe into our belly area a little bit more. You almost try to breathe into the side of the trunk. Okay. And when you're ready, breathing in, reaching up. Okay, so maybe slowly go a little bit further. Okay, if it is not painful for you. Okay, I'm trying to reach inwards and backwards. So I'm almost trying to press this side forward a little bit. So my chest and hips are square to the front. And maybe 3 to 5 times again. And slowly come back. Shake it off a little bit. Okay, let's shake it off a little bit. So let's try just swinging our leg front to back. Okay, just a couple of times each way for now. Okay, side to side a little bit. You might have to move things around so you don't get the chair. Okay, let's rotate your hips a little bit more. So let's just kind of, I guess, put our cigarette with our heel. Okay, once again, if you have any pain, just don't go as far. Okay, but you should feel the motion coming from our hip joints. Okay, same thing on the other side. Okay, the other next ones does rotate the hip a little more. So if you have any hip issues or even balance issues, don't try too hard. Even grab 2 chairs for support. Okay, but let's stand a little taller. Okay, we're going to try to lift the inside edge of our foot a little bit higher. Okay, coming back down. Okay, and once again, we're just going to lift and let go. Okay, try to stay tall. Okay, while we lift the leg up. Okay, so resist the urge to bend forward and round forward. Okay, see if you can get the motion more from your hips. Okay, let's try the same thing on the other side. Okay, so this is kind of externally rotating our hips. Okay, which means your knees. You can think of if I am twisting my hips, my leg towards the outside, and then my leg goes outwards as a result. Okay, relaxing for a second. Okay, now we're going to do the opposite. We're going to do internal rotation, which just means your leg is rotating towards the middle. Okay, so we are going to bend the knees a little bit. Okay, lifting knee side out. Okay, we're going to do the opposite this time. So we're trying to almost try to get your knees to point inwards while we push the foot up. Okay, and I'm trying to not rotate my entire hip. Okay, I'm just trying to. You can think, or you can actually an easier way to just lift the knee up to the side, a little bit off to the side. Okay, and then just trying to bring the outside part of your ankle a little bit more, I guess, upwards or outwards. Okay, and I'm still trying to keep my hips squared to the front. Okay, maybe a little bit time for certain parts that we're not used to. Okay, and shake it off a little bit. Okay, when we're ready, let's see if you can just bring your knees, bring out a little bit. Sorry, lift your knees up to the side, and then trying to almost press the heel backwards while lifting the outside parts of the ankles out and up. Okay, and once again, after 3 to 5 times, just shake it off. Okay, let's go into our squatting motion. Okay, so setting your hips back, bend your knees a little bit more, sit on a tall bar stool with your knees over our feet. So too far in, track our knees over our feet. Okay, and toes can be pointing out slightly. Okay, back still long. Okay, so maybe the image of a baseball player. They're just kind of waiting to see where the ball is flying. Okay, so feet are still flat on the ground while you do this. Okay, let's do something similar, but just for our feet a little bit wider apart. Okay, so a little bit wider than the shoulders, toes can be pointed out a little bit more. Okay, still push the hips back. Okay, but this time, kind of straighten out one knee a little bit more. Okay, and bending the other knee. Okay, so you're sitting back, just a little bit side to side. Okay, still trying to shift the hips backwards. Okay, maybe a little bit of a stretch on the inside of the straight leg. Okay, a little bit harder. Okay, we are just going to squat down and hold a little bit. You can lean towards one way. Okay, kind of just rotate forward. Okay, as you reach other side, kind of just rotate, push the hips out a little bit more towards opposite direction. Okay, and rotate back and set yourself back again. Okay, maybe a little bit hard. A little bit, it's a little bit of coordination. So lean towards one way again. Kind of roll towards other way until you reach your limit. Okay, drive the hips out in that direction a little bit more. And a little bit forward. Okay, and set yourself back down. Okay, so let's do it one more time per side. Okay, if you find it's way too hard on your thighs, just kind of stand up, pause for a second. Okay, but let's do it one more time per side. Okay, so there's a little bit of side bending through the spine and also a bit of hip rotation kind of involved. So it's kind of more of a whole body, kind of a whole body rotation. Okay, so setting yourself down again. Once again, lean towards one way. Kind of lean forward to the opposite side. Okay, as you reach your limit, drive the hips towards the opposite direction. Drive it forward a little bit. Set yourself back down. Okay, and go the other way again. You can even kind of press through a little bit. Okay, push hips in opposite direction. Forward. And set yourself like that. Okay, thighs probably pretty a little bit sore by now. Okay, so coming back up. Okay, so most of the motion comes from the hips, a little bit of the spine. Okay, so the goal is not just to, the goal is not to just move any way we can, but just see if you can move a little more from the hips. Okay, the parts that are not moving well is the parts that we do want to move a little bit more. The part that you already move very well, we probably don't need to do as much. Okay, and shake it off a little bit. Okay, let's rotate, bend the knees a little bit. Okay, let's do the ankles first. Okay, so we are going to rock back and forth. Okay, and see as you rock onto your toes, okay, see if you can put more pressure on different parts of the toes or different toes. So sometimes we try to stand more on your big toe, sometimes more on the middle toes, sometimes maybe a little more towards the outside. Okay, so your ankles are kind of tilting a little bit. Okay, see maybe you can lift the toes a little bit higher. Okay, hold on to support as much as you need. Lean forward to counterbalance. Okay, and let's tilt side to side even more. So lift one side of the ankles or the feet. Okay, and let's stand more on one leg while we draw a bigger circle around. Just a couple of times. Okay, and let's go onto the hip circle. So this is the harder one. So we're trying to lift, so at least a chair on one side for, even if you don't need it, maybe just have it around just for safety. The other hand, I'm just going to lift away from my body a little bit so it gets out of the way of my leg. Okay, I'm going to lightly tense up and lightly stand a little taller. Okay, I'm going to lift this side of my right side and my right toes up. Bend my knees, so I'm trying to pull my heels towards my butt. Okay, and then I'm going to try to drive it backwards until I feel a little bit of of a tension in my glute muscles, my butt muscle. Okay, try to lift it up a little bit. Try to bring the outside edge of my ankle up. Okay, start to drop it, lifting the knees a little bit high up. Okay, so my toes still try to pour towards my knees. Okay, as I bring it forward, I'm trying to lift the inside edge of my foot up while keeping my knee up. Okay, and putting it back down. Pause for a second. Okay, and then we'll go the other direction. Okay, staying tall. Lift the inside edge of my foot up. Okay, keeping it up while I bring my knee towards the outside. As I feel a lock, I'm going to drop my foot down, and if possible, lift my knees a little high again. Go in the opposite direction. I'm going to try to lift the outside part of my ankle up. Okay, drive it back. Get back down and down. Okay, so can be pretty tiring. Okay, just do our best. So even if it's just this small, this much of a circle, that's completely fine. Okay, you don't have to always go to our limits. Okay, just go to something that may be slightly difficult. Okay, it definitely should be doable to a point where it's still doable, still safe for you. Okay, so no need to go all the way around if it's not comfortable doing that. Okay, the goal is just to get a little closer to a limit, which is a tiny bit past and comfortable. Okay, let's try just one more on the other side. Okay, once again, I'm pulling my toes towards my knees, bending my knees a little bit. Okay, I'm going to drive the foot backwards by squeezing my butt. This leg is working to stabilize my body. Okay, I'm going to lift my leg out to the side until I get to my limit. Drop my foot down so that I can lift the knee a little high up. Okay, start to bring the knee forward while lifting the inside of my ankle up. And put it back down. You can relax in between. Okay, whenever you're ready, just opposite direction. Inside part of my ankle up. Keeping it up as I bring my knee out. Okay, when I feel I'm getting to that lock in my hips, I'm going to drop my foot down, keep my knee up, point my foot backwards. Okay, so I'm lifting the outside of my ankles. Drive my foot back. Okay, coming back down and down. Okay, so take a couple of breaths again. The whole body does need to tense up a little bit in order to stabilize. Okay, and let's sit down for a second so we can give ourselves a break. We're almost done. We're just going to go to the lower leg. Okay, so give ourselves a second first. So now we're going to lock down the upper leg, and we're just going to rotate the lower leg a little bit more. Okay, and we do that by lifting our knees a little higher. You can use your hands to hold on to your thighs. Okay, and so you should depend on the shape of your hips. Okay, you might find that your hips are kind of locked in place by the pelvis. Okay, so what we're going to do now is just going to be, let's try to straighten it out a little bit. Okay, back down. Okay, you might feel a little bit of stretch behind the knees, behind the thighs. Okay, and now we're going to add a little bit of rotation. Okay, so you're going to let's just try to drive your heel kind of side to side. Okay, so you might even see your lower leg. So your ankle does rotate as well, but you might see a little bit of your rotation of the lower leg as well. Okay, and we combine the two. So when we rotate as far one way as we feel comfortable, keep that rotation while we lift the foot up. Okay, rotate our lower leg the other way. Bring it back down, keeping the rotation. Okay, and maybe repeat a few times. Okay, maybe just 1 or 2 times in each direction. Okay, so it's maybe not so much motion, but see if you can see your lower leg just rotate a tiny bit. It's a very small motion. Okay, and relaxing for a second. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm not sure if it's possible to see. I might move maybe a little bit more in front. Okay, so still just get used to straightening and bending the knees while maybe feeling a little bit of stretch behind. You can even hold it at the top a little bit. Okay, and then let's add the rotation. So slight amount of rotation in the lower leg. So you might be able to see my lower leg rotating side to side a little bit. Okay, I'm trying to not feel too much of a movement in my hips. Okay, and I'm just going to rotate one way, straighten out, rotate the other way, dropping back down. Okay, and we're almost out of time, so let's just go to our toes. Sit way back. But let's just try to lift, if you can, lift the toes off the floor. Okay, see if you can lift just your big toe off the floor. This, if you can, even draw circles, pushing your big toe inwards. Okay, opposite thing, opposite, so try to keep the big toe down and lift just the other toes. Okay, see if you can circle your other toes kind of outwards this time. Okay, scratch the floor with all your toes. Okay, and shake it back out a little bit. Okay, a couple of deep breaths in and out. Okay, if you have any area that you find is a little stiff, okay, you might have to stretch it out or kind of give yourself a little bit of massage afterwards. So I feel a little bit tightness in my neck, so I might have to give myself a little bit of massage afterwards. Okay, and that's all the time we have. So thank you for coming, everyone. See everyone next week. No problem. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye-bye. Hello. I'm good. The lifting part must be hard for you. Yeah, it's just a very deliberate attempt to move it. So a lot of time we just get used to moving in certain ranges. We need to deliberately open up a little bit more. Yeah, it is not. So that's why just, if you have any problems, just do the best you can without going into pain. And that's kind of the scope of this class. You too. No problem. Bye-bye.